recording because that's key.
Cool.
Hi, welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda. Today we have with us Alayna. How you doing, Alayna?
I'm good. How are you, Marty?
I'm fine. It's very exciting to have you up here right as we're taping. It's the day before the release of your album, and people will hopefully be seeing it on the day. So how are you feeling about it all coming out?
I've been trying to work out how I feel. I don't know yet.
Okay.
It's probably just a lot of everything. Yeah.
Right. And the album is called The Self-Portrait of a Woman Unravelling. So that is a concerning title. Should I be concerned? Are you okay?
I'm totally fine.
Oh, that's good.
It's just an honest title, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the backstory of the album. When did it start becoming a record for you? I know you put out a couple of EPs in the past, right?
Yes. So my last EP I put out in 2020, but that was a lot of kind of 2019 music, and
that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago. Feels like a whole world ago. But I always knew I wanted to make a debut album, or like my first album. I knew it was going to be centered around trying to figure out who I am, and really lean into my identity, because it's just something it's always felt quite hard for me to put my finger on. And I just knew I'd feel ready when it was time to write it. And I think after the second EP, I was like, okay, it's time to focus on the relationship with myself more than the ones with others. And so the concept was really like, I think in music, but also just in life, people were like, so who are you? What's your story? What do you have to say? And it was kind of my answer being like, how can you ask someone to paint a self-portrait if they can't really see themselves, or they can't quite make out who they are?
Right.
And the unraveling part was just when I went on the journey, the more I leaned into myself or tried to figure out who I was, the more the person I was trying to get to was unraveling as well. So it just felt like this constant inward reaching into and never quite getting a grasp of that person.
Gotcha. So when you were writing these songs, do you have a process that you kind of go through? Did you have a vision in your head, or did you understand where you were going with these?
It's so funny, because I thought, I was like, okay, the first 3 songs are going to say this, and then I'm going to get to a realization at this point, and then these songs are going to say that, and then at the end I'll have the turning point, and the last song is like, yes, this is who I am. And it's so funny that I thought that was how it was going to go, because it was nothing like that at all.
Oh well.
And it took a lot, it was probably 3 years in the end of writing for this project, and the first 2, I think, I just kept hitting these walls, and then it finally, I finally realized that, oh my gosh, I need to let go and just let the music take me where it wants to go.
Right.
Yeah, and then I went.
But how do you let go?
Try to get out of my own way, or just turn down the inner critic in my brain,
right,
which is very, very loud most of the time. So that was the biggest challenge. This whole process was myself.
Right.
Yeah.
So the album starts out with you singing, saying, Alayna, where are you?
Yeah.
So obviously there's a path that's going to happen here, and that's where you're starting off.
I thought that was the best place to start, because I was like, well, actually, if I want to go inward, I need to find where on earth I am at the moment.
Right.
And so that felt like it was one of the first songs I wrote as well, and it was kind of exploring a new sound, and it just felt right, almost like a firm footing before you kind of dive into everything you need to.
So I assume you'd want people to listen to it in the order that you've released it, from beginning to end.
I would love them to,
but these are strange times for listening, isn't it?
Totally. They can just listen how they want, but I put so much into the journey through the track listing. So if they want to get the experience, I'd recommend that for sure.
Right. And you've got a song called Icicles on My Eyelashes.
Yes.
I found that particularly intriguing.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you have anything you can add to it other than what we hear?
Yeah, so I think that song for me, the whole concept of icicles on my eyelashes was feeling quite detached from everyone else in the world. I've always felt more like a kind of observer and not quite in the flow with everyone else. And the first verse is like, I know it's summer and I can see everyone having a beautiful time, but for me I was like, I can't feel the same feelings. It's like I'm in some weird winter or a different world or a different season than everyone else. So it's kind of looking at that place I was at in my mind and trying to articulate that.
I think I read that your dad is a music teacher?
Yes.
So how did that affect you? Was it a good thing, bad thing, indifferent? It's all you know, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, the best in all the ways.
Good.
Yeah, he played in an Irish band for years, I think 40 years or something. And so when we were kids, he was just always playing guitar, and he taught all me and my brothers guitar, and he just taught me songs. So the first songs I learned were all his favourite songs, like Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, and
right.
I'm trying to think of all the first songs I sang.
Right.
And I think over that time is like I subconsciously learned about songwriting through like learning and singing these songs.
Yep. Well, you're learning from the best there. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it was so cool when years later, I think I was 15 when I first tried to write my own song. It's like I look back at that song now, I'm like, oh, I actually did good. Like I didn't know what I was doing, but it's crazy how much I'd picked up just from soaking up all the inspiration. Yeah.
So, but you're very young, and Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen were a long time ago. So, what were you listening to yourself that kind of made a difference for you when you were growing up?
I think it was discovering. I remember Sam Smith, his early music, his soul voice just blew me away. And I love songwriting, but that was the first time I heard a voice. I was like, oh, I want to lean into my voice more as well, because I think what gets me is a beautiful songwriting and then an incredible voice. And so that very quickly inspired me to try and lean into both of those things. So I remember like just discovering all these amazing singers and leaning into like the R&B world was really inspiring too.
Right. Okay, so what have we brought here? What are we looking at here?
So this is one of my handwritten journals I made for the album, and what I really wanted to do was make an experience for listeners in other parts of the world as well, where they could sit in a cafe and flick through all the songs and lyrics and notes on my album and little sketches and paintings I did during the making of the whole project.
So there's more than just lyrics in here though, right?
Yes.
Tell me what else is in here.
I've got basically my notes throughout and thoughts for each song and kind of how they came about, and also sketches and paintings I did, and just during the whole album process trying to figure out who I was really. Yeah.
So the sketches are self-portraits?
Yes.
And did that help you come to a conclusion at the end of this questioning time?
Kind of. I think it was all part of like, it coincided with the music, trying to turn around and look at myself more and actually be like, oh, what actually do I look like? And it was quite nice, almost like trying to get to know an old friend that you kind of forgotten about or something. So it felt nice to do.
And so what are you going to do with the journal now?
So there's one sitting in London, New York and Sydney, and here in Auckland at Kind Cafe. They're just going to sit for the next couple of days, and then I don't know, somehow get them back here. I made them and I sent them out, and now I haven't thought that far ahead.
So with the record coming out, are you going to be doing some live performances?
Yes.
Yes? What do you got in store for us?
Tomorrow night, Friday 7th of July, so
yes.
It might be today.
Today, yes.
I'm playing at Big Fan for my album release show.
Yep.
And the following week in Rotorua, which is my hometown,
right.
I'm playing on Saturday 15th.
Is it solo, or do you have a band, or how do you do your thing?
I've got my band for these.
Okay.
Big Fan will be the big show, and Rotorua will be a bit more intimate, and yeah.
Cool. Now you're going to play a song for us here today, is that correct?
Yes.
What have you got in store for us?
I'm going to play one of the songs later in the album. It's called If You Want My Love. And I just loved it because I focused so much on so much of this deep personal stuff, and this song felt like quite a breath of fresh air because it was me sitting back and going like, oh my gosh, I just think the point of everything is just to love and want to be loved in return.
And you're going to play it on guitar. Is this different than how you recorded it? It sounds to me like it probably
a little bit, yeah. So we did, the producer I worked with, Noima Teho, he executive produced the album, and we worked on this particular song. It went through a few different versions before we settled on the final production, which ended up being way bigger than how we wrote it. But yeah, this is just stripping it back again.
Cool. Well, this is all very exciting. I hope you have a good release day.
Thank you.
It should be fun, and the show goes well. We'll catch you at the Big Fan and down in Rotorua. Then you're going to hopefully spread out to the rest of the country.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming up here, and we'll hear you play your tune now.
Thanks, Marty.
Watch the leaves turn red. They don't put up a fight, they just do what they're meant. Do we do what we're meant to? And time is slipping through my hands. It was never my friend, an illusion instead. Maybe it's time to let go for good. I really shouldn't know. I really shouldn't be feeling this way. Should really love myself before I give my heart away again. Tell me if you want my love. Tell me if you want my love. And tell me what you want, tell me what you need, tell me how it feels in my love. And tell me if you want my love. See how the rainfall clears all the mess and the pain of yesteryear. You do that to my head. So tell me if you want my love. Tell me if you want my love. And tell me what you want, tell me what you need, tell me how it feels in my love, how it feels, my love. Yeah, 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 oh. Tell me how it feels, I'll tell you how it feels, I'll tell you, my love. And tell me how it feels.